So, do you ever wonder why women and men have such a hard time communicating with each other? It is because we are wired differently. Good morning. My name is Kenisha Berry, and I am excited to share with you guys this struggle that we have in marriage with communicating. It is not because your spouse is incompetent, it's not because they're evil or mean, it's simply because we have been wired differently. And what we need seems different. But here's the thing, like, we're also wired that we give what we need. And that becomes a problem because, say, for instance, if your need is to talk something out, you may assume that that is the way everybody needs to express or feel themselves. Well, another person, particularly men, they need to think it out before they begin to verbally discuss it. And so, because of that difference, what we can do is we can begin to attack one another's methods. And so I think it's important to teach couples how to hear the other person's love language, how to really connect to a person by understanding their needs. But one of the things we do in the program, Think Your Way to a Better Marriage, is we also help the individual, the female spouse, the male spouse, and right now that's who I deal with. We help them understand their needs so they can begin to communicate from that need. And because many times we are screaming, yelling, kicking to get our needs met, but we are not using language to help our spouse understand what it is that we need deeply and greatly. That is what's causing the communication breakdown. Because oftentimes in our communication, when we're communicating from hurt, anger, frustration, we can only create an environment that feels unsafe to the other person. And anytime someone feels unsafe, they will retreat in some form or another. So we hear that term, fight or flight. Flight many times can look like, I'm just not going to talk anymore. So I'm going to say another word. Flight could also look like, I'm literally packing my bags and I'm out of here. But then there's this thing where, I remember hearing a minister say this years ago. He said, man has all the ability of God, but not all the power. And he says a man has the ability to be present and absent at the same time. And I thought, well, how devastating. So sometime in our speaking and our language and not listening and not knowing how to communicate effectively, and when we communicate from that hurt and anger and we devalue a person, they will be present with you physically, but absent mind, heart. So they're gone, but it appears that they're still there. So this point, I want to give you a few tips and tools on how to understand what it is you need versus what your spouse may need. And again, I'm coming from this from a male female perspective. Um, I'm old school. That's just kind of my lane. I don't have a problem with other people's lanes. I just don't know it. And so I want to honor and respect that by saying, this is what I'm speaking to, the heterosexual marriage relationship energy. And so women and men, I believe, I'm a Bible girl. We're created differently. God created Adam from the dirt and then Eve from his rib. And when the two were created, neither one of them saw how it was going down. So they was created differently to be different, but to need one another, to be connected to one another. And many times we fell in the connection part because of our struggle to effectively communicate. So let me talk about what a woman needs. Now, if you come into my course, you'll learn that we all have 6 basic needs, but right now I'm specifically focusing on the way needs show up for a woman. So research has shown that a woman's highest need is security, safety and security. And that means we want to feel emotionally safe, physically safe, spiritually safe. We want to be in an environment where we can truly express who we are and know that we're taken care of and protected. And taken care of not meaning like just providing. Provision is great, but also providing space for me to say comfortably what I need to say, feel safe to say it without being attacked for saying it. Women need to feel secure. So, men, when your woman feels like you don't protect her, feel disrespected, feel devalued, when she feels like you're selfish, she doesn't feel safe. And so, if you want your woman to feel safe, you have to get to a place where you are willing to hear the importance of security and safety for her. Even if it's something like, if you never getting those bills paid on time, trust me, you're creating anxiety in her. If you are the person who goes out and instead of doing the right thing with money, you gamble, you take risks, you do things, it's probably creating insecurity in your wife or in your spouse that's really driving her crazy. And I do understand that there are times when some of these needs are flipped, but typically, that is the greatest need for a woman, is to feel safe and secure. Now, ladies, here's the thing, and here's our challenge. For a man, his greatest need is to feel honored and respected. And I know for a lot of you guys, or I'll say this from my experience of friends in the past and women that I've been around, the notion of us respecting you without you earning the respect sounds crazy to many of us. But if it's your highest need, we have to learn how to speak to a man from a place where he feels honored, respected. Because the moment we use our words to attack, belittle, downgrade this person, and he begins to disconnect from us, trust me, it's a hard thing to get back. And even though the marriage vows tell us that we are to only have one another, when a man feels devalued, doesn't have the respect he believes he should have. And again, it's not even just a belief for him. It's not even a ego boost. It is like God designed men to need honor and respect. Remember that scripture says, husband, love your wife. Wife, respect your husband. And God tells us that because he knew he designed the man to need respect. And so when he doesn't feel like he's getting it, he will find it somewhere else. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't justify his cheating. And I never believe that it's a woman's fault or anyone's fault that anyone cheats in the relationship. That is a character issue, because at some point you have to get to a place where you understand yourself enough to be able to effectively communicate what it is you need. And I can tell you, if you're thinking, well, I am communicating, Kanisha, and they just don't understand. If you have to communicate from yelling and screaming and getting into these matches where your words are attacking, you are not effectively communicating. You are frustrated. You are certainly disappointed and angry, but you're not effectively communicating. So when you learn the skill of effective communication, you don't need to yell. You don't need to attack, because you can simply say, I need you to understand how important it is to me that you respect me. And I know for a woman who feels like that she hasn't been taken care of, haven't provided her highest needs, security and safety, her immediate reaction is, how dare you? Why would I respect you when you're not providing financially, providing the safety and security that I need, providing emotionally? It's going to be very hard for her to respect you. But guys, if you are a husband and wife, I assume you're together because you love each other. And if you love each other, learn how to get to that soft place where you can get back to the time when what made you marry them in the first place. That's where you want to get to. What made me marry this person in the first place? And if I can get to that emotional state, now I can listen long enough to give the security, give the honor and respect that's desired in the relationship so that we can grow together. Listen, I just want you to hold on to those two things and really think about it and contemplate the fact that as married women and men, we are created differently intentionally. And our husbands need respect and honor, and husbands, your wives need security and safety. And that for her, oftentimes she needs to feel safe financially, emotionally, spiritually. She needs to be able to share who she is and her thoughts with you in a safe, loving environment. And if you guys can start doing that for one another, you'll have a safe and loving marriage. I hope you have a blessed day. Be good to one another. Learn how to communicate effectively. Learn how to communicate without all the yelling and the screaming and the cursing. You can do it. It's just about building your emotional vocabulary. When you begin to do that, which is something we teach you to do, and to think your way to a better marriage program, I promise you, your marriage will change for the better. It's a beautiful, wonderful program. And guys, imagine 6 weeks from today, your marriage being better and different. Just 6 weeks. I believe that's before Christmas. All right. Have a blessed day. Be good to one another. Bye bye.